What's going on? You're hanging out with PhiLL Kross, and we're back doing it. The show goes on where we get the opportunity to connect with countless music professionals and industry superstars, and we check in to see how they're navigating COVID-19. Today we're kicking it with a good buddy of mine, Mike G, aka Mike Guerriero. Before we bring Mike in, let me just tell you a little bit about Mike. Mike is somebody who I would say is a genius in the music industry, all right? And his bio goes deep. As a lot of people on the show, they have deep bios. He's written several dance hits, including the #1 Billboard Dance Hit, How Can I Be Falling, performed by Jennifer Green. He wrote several national dance radio hits, Kiss the Sky and You'll Always Have Me by Danielle Bollinger. He's also worked with a broad range of talent, including Shontelle, Rockwilder. I love Rockwilder. He's dope. That's my dude. You God from Wu-Tang Clan, Powfu, and newly signed artist Mishaal. He was an A&R scout for Columbia Records, Music with a Twist, where several of his artists were discovered and signed, and they went on and did their thing. In 2018, this is really cool. He's given back a little bit. Mike went ahead and got hired as an adjunct professor to teach music business at Nassau Community College on Long Island, and he lectures often at his alma mater, Pace University. So without further ado, Mike G, are you there, baby?
PhiLL Kross, how are you, bro?
Doing great, man. Well, listen, thank you for coming on the show. It's an interesting time in the world right now, and it's very interesting to hear how the music industry is navigating COVID-19. I mean, it's an industry where people love to be in the room, or they need to be in the room. Other people that we've had on the show said that they've stopped writing music because they can't be in the room, and they're not going to continue writing until the music industry comes back. So that's why for us it's so interesting to hear all these different perspectives and point of views from people like yourself, where you can shine a little wisdom, little knowledge, and tell us how you're navigating COVID-19. So that brings me to the first question. There's a lot of conspiracy about COVID-19. People think all these different things. So is COVID-19, one, a natural phenomenon, two, a military or government bioweapon, three, a conspiracy that was accidentally or purposely released by some secret society out there, or is it the 5G network?
First of all, so good to be here with you as always. Thank you for your time, and always good to see you, PhiLL Kross. To answer that question, I would have to say, if I had that answer, I think I would probably be working for a top secret part of the government or hunkered down in some bunker somewhere. But so if I had to answer this, I would just say, wear a mask, keep your distance from people, wash your hands, and keep reading, keep educating yourself. But I just don't think we know enough right now, so I can't really make a comment to that.
There's a lot of people in the music industry that we mentioned earlier in the show that require or rely heavily on working in person and being in the room in person. With COVID-19, it's an interesting situation because you don't know if somebody necessarily has this virus or not. And do you even want to be around somebody wearing a mask or not? I don't know, depending on your level of ability to catch this virus or not. Obviously, some people are asymptomatic and others are not. How is this affecting your workflow? How are you overcoming COVID-19 as a songwriter that collaborates in the room and also as a professor, right? Because now you're educating our youth.
Right now I'm working with an artist who's out of the country, and very often I'll get an idea for a song and I'll record it really quick and I'll shoot it over. And sometimes I shoot it over and then I get a recording back where the melody just changed. So he took something I gave him and then he twisted it and added his magic and it came back and I'm like, oh my God, I love this even better. Then there's other times I'll get on with an artist and we will go on to a Zoom session just like this, and we will go. So it's like right now, if me and you like, hey, Phil, what are we going to talk about? Cool. What do we want to write about? Cool. Hey, I've got an external little bullet speaker and I could play the song and me and you could start vibing that way if it was a keyboard. So I really do feel there are many ways for us to still collaborate. Again, where there's a will, there's a way.
Well, it's great to hear that you're still continuing on. And for other people in the music industry, how do you feel we can help other professionals? How can we work together better out there?
I say check on your friends, check on the musicians, check on the artists. I always say this, we have to protect artists. They have the most difficult challenge out of any of us in this industry. They're almost, if you think about it, an artist is on the front line right? They're the ones with their name on it. It's their face, it's their voice. So in any creative situation, I always defer to the artist, right? Because it's them, it's their voice.
Artists are going to unfortunately take the biggest hit because artists generally make their money by performing and touring, and especially those artists that don't have any writing credit. And there are a lot of those that don't have writing credit and they just rely on performing and touring.
To mention, what about the touring industry? This is what frightens me. What do our friends that are on tour? I have a very good friend. He's a guitar tech, toured the world with Gaga, so many major artists. What does he do?
Yeah, those are the guys that unfortunately I think are going to take the biggest hit. I mean, they are talking about doing virtual concerts. I had a conversation with multiple CEOs earlier on in the show. Steve Greenberg in our very last show, CEO of S-Curve Records. I mean, all of these CEOs are waiting and are on the forefront of a virtual something that's going to happen. And there are other companies that are involved in putting that together. And in the meantime, we do see artists using social media platforms to perform on. But I do think at some point we will see a website where it's, but not on a low level, on a very high level, because there are lower level ones out there right now. But I think we're going to see a higher level of virtual concerts. And I had a conversation with Steve Greenberg about this in our last video, where he was saying that it's going to be like a 3D thing where you'll put this 3D thing on your head, this Oculus, whatever, awesome. And you'll feel like you're there. When you turn your head, you're going to see people around you. And then when you watch on the stage, you're going to see pyrotechnics, and you're going to feel confetti coming from the ceiling and all of that stuff. That being said, technology can get us close to the real thing, but it's never the real thing. The real thing is so much bigger and better, and the vibration of the speaker hitting your chest, and the accidental sweat from the person that you hit to the right of you while they're screaming and shouting, and the thunder of people's feet that are stomping in the stadium. That's just, you'll never be able to replace all that. But I think we can get close, and I think for the time being, that may suffice. And hopefully that'll be an industry that continues to go on, because no investor or even business person wants to be involved in a company that's short term. So I think there will be a new space for that. And I think we will see the evolution of that, especially now with people thinking, well, hey, could this happen again? Could there be another pandemic again? Of course it's yes. And maybe it is another 100 years from now, but so what? We want to be prepared for it. So is there any piece of advice that Mike G has for just anybody out there outside of the music industry, anybody that is watching this right now at home? What advice would you give to them?
Control what you can control. And what can you control? You can control what you eat. You can control what you're doing every day. Getting out in nature, it's proven by psychologists and psychiatrists that being in nature lowers your anxiety. Being with technology and cable news all day raises your anxiety. I think some form of physical activity, going for a jog, going for a walk, but doing things that you can control, because that will balance you. Also, I think it's very important, meditation. If people haven't meditated, go on YouTube. If you can't meditate, start to learn what deep breathing is. Just inhaling and exhaling for 5 seconds through your nose, in, out, will automatically relax you and lower your anxiety. So I think we're all experiencing this stress, but I also think it's a great time to learn. So for me, if it's finding new spiritual teachers, reading more briefs, if it's psychology, whatever it is, but trying to expand our consciousness. And I would say, as much as I enjoy it, and I take a lot of it in every day, is stay away from cable news. It's highly toxic, and I've even heard many newscasters say it's highly toxic. And again, not to say you shouldn't be informed, and me personally, I really enjoy it, and I'm a cable news junkie.
You got to get a break. You got to get a break, though. You got to just take a break. It'll make you crazy.
100%. Spend time with people you love. Try to spend time with animals. Just being with a dog, they say, can lower your heartbeat and calm you. So I think simple, practical things, but most importantly is take care of yourself and check on each other. I recently learned there's an old Arabic saying that says, if you see someone without a smile, give them one of yours. And I love that so much because I think it's so beautiful, you know, like, you know, just try to light up the world, light up someone. And I think those things we do really can shift and change other people's worlds.
I think it's a lot of really beautiful, well said things from somebody that you're a songwriter, so you go deep and you have a beautiful soul. We've known each other for a long time. We haven't mentioned that on the show, but I met Mike when I was maybe like 13 or 14, and I was DJing somebody's birthday party. And I was at a smaller radio station at the time, and Mike was making music, and I write music and I make music, and we said we gotta do this. So we've known each other for a long time now. So Mike is definitely the guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, has a lot of great wisdom, and always shares incredible advice. And I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate you coming on the show. Before we let you bounce, where can people follow you at? I mean, I know you're on Instagram.
Mike Guerriero, and again, my last name is a tough one. But it's Mike Guerriero and the number 1.
Well, you're going to see it right here, right above my fingers, right there. And then also look in the description down below as well, too.
Thank you very much, Phil, not only for those words, but for your friendship and the time. I send you all the light and just faith in my heart.
Dude, thank you for coming on, and hopefully sooner than later we'll be back in the studio writing our next hit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm down, bro. Let's go.